Now that I've finished my rendering modeling monochromatic, I'm going to jump over to my line proximity. So once again, I'm still going to use red because that's the main color that I used up here, and I want to see how my next color scheme impacts my red. Okay, so I'm going to go with line proximity. So with line proximity, I could use, since I already use monochromatic, I cannot use monochromatic, so I'm going to cross it off right away. I use monochromatic up here, so I cannot use it in any of my other ones. So I decide which color scheme I'm going to use in this area. To keep it simple, I'm going to go with complementary for right now, so I'm going to keep going in order. You do not have to. This is just what I'm going to do for the sake of this demonstration. So, just like before, when you were working with the pencils, now you're going to be creating line. The tough thing is, if you notice, this does not have a very solid edge. Okay, it's not that sharp. So, to create lines with it is difficult. But if you notice, as I'm coming through here, I'm actually turning my pastel, and that creates a line. Okay, this is a way to create texture. Again, if it starts to blend in too much, I'm basically doing rendering modeling. Now, with complementary, the idea is that I'm going to be using the colors complement to create the darker value that's also going to desaturate the color. And then I'm going to use white to lighten it. So once again, I start in here with the green. And be sure that you're using the correct green when you're using this. Do not use the yellow green. This has yellow in it. Okay, so I'm not going to use it. I'm using the correct green. It says there right there, green. So I come in here, and again, I'm just using line. And with this, I'm turning the pastel as I go across. And then I start to actually lighten my lines and separate them. Now I'm going to come back over, keeping my lines going in one direction. And you notice what starts to happen to the red. Okay, you want to be able to see this texture. If you cannot see the texture, you're basically doing rendering modeling. The whole idea is learning how to make expressive marks and use different techniques to create values and textures. That's the whole point of using line proximity. I think I went a little bit too far with the green, but that's okay. I'll just go a little bit less with the white when I get into it. Adding more of my red, and you start to see what starts to happen, right? That's basically what I'm looking for. These should look different. I should be able to see a different texture. If I can't, then I went a little bit too far with it in terms of putting too many marks too close together. Now, adding the white, it's the same idea. Okay, so I'm cleaning off my oil pastel, and I'm trying to create a few lines with my white. And because I pulled my red over a little, or the green a little bit too far into the middle, I'm not going to pull the white all the way across. Again, since now I'm introducing the red into the highlight area, I clean off my oil pastel. And sometimes what I like to do is it'll help me create like a little point on it. So that's up to you if you want to do that. Some people like to do it, some people don't. It's a matter of preference. So there I am right there. Now I'm going to come in here, once again, just like I did on the opposite side. And I'm really trying to create texture and create the values. Okay, and then I pull it up. You can see what I start to do. I think you get the idea, right? Again, texture. Being a little bit expressive with the marks, not necessarily trying to create as smooth of a blend as that, but rather you start to create these marks and they start to visually blend. But the whole idea is a texture that's being created. All right, a little bit more in here just to kind of further enhance the texture. And there's the value scale. I think you get the idea, right? Cool.